Ladies and gentlemen, people are saying that Kamala is drunk at her rallies and at her speeches. And I'm going to speculate here that not only is this woman under the influence of some foreign substance to her body, but I'm going to speculate as to why this woman is under the influence of something. When you take 100,000-foot view at what is going on, and I know it's very difficult for people to do this, but I want you to put yourself in Kamala's shoes for a second. I'm serious. I mean, really, really put yourself in Kamala's shoes. There has been a coup against Joe Biden, who was her running mate, and the former president of the United States. Clearly, there's been a coup. She was installed as the Democratic nominee. She runs against Orange Man Bad, Donald Trump, who is a relentless savage when it comes to politics. And on top of all of that, she knows what's really going on. Now, I'm going to say this. As I say this to you, I don't feel sorry for this woman at all. I'm not saying this to say that anybody should feel sorry for Kamala. Because Kamala has chosen to be the empty suit that will be the president, to be manipulated by forces that are greater than her. So she's chosen to be in this space of manipulation. She's chosen to be a vessel for the destruction of America. And the weight of that choice is what you see when you see Kamala talking. It's the weight of that choice. I don't care what nobody say. You know, it's hard for a human being to be under that kind of pressure. And again, I want to be clear, I do not feel sorry for her because she chose it. But what I see is that weight. Watch this. Let's go to it.
Our extraordinary President Joe Biden. And he's going to speak in a minute, but there's a lot of love in this room for our president. Our extraordinary President Joe Biden.
I see a person that's under the weight of the world, literally the weight of the world, who knows what's coming down the pipeline. You may be saying, DW, well, what do you mean? What does she know? Well, she knows that illegals are going to vote. She knows that there's a plan to steal the election. She knows that there's a plan to bring communism into America. She knows that she's lying to people, and she knows that she's been caught lying. She knows that just recently, when she wrote out her economic principles and plans, that they were stolen from the Trump campaign. Just for a second, because this is how you really see what an enemy is doing. You have to put yourselves in their shoes. I would have to be drunk or high to be on stage with Joe Biden at this point in time, when you know that there was an active coup against him. And there's no telling what crazy old Joe has been saying in the background. You do realize that family's dangerous. We do realize that that family is a criminal enterprise. So imagine being a woman who was plucked up, put in position, and when she first got the position, she's like, okay, this is great. You know, I'm going to be the vice president. I didn't do anything. She didn't do anything, right? And so now here it comes. It's your time to be on the stage. It's your time to shine. You got to carry the weight, and then you just drop weight all over that person's shoulders, and that person's not prepared. And this is what you get.
Hold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And it is very fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Because
the woman probably has every form of anxiety there is, and she's probably on anxiety medicine and drugs. And so when you see somebody drunk, I see somebody who's on anxiety meds. Point blank, period. And then when you factor in the fact that they changed the rules and laws and regulations to allow illegals to vote. Give me a second. Where did it go? That they've allowed illegals to vote.
Has ceased making the, and it's happening for And it's happening for political reasons. It's happening because the Democratic Party has ceased making the case for itself to Americans. And so in order to keep power, in fact, to expand their power and to preside over the one-party state that they desire, they're going to need a brand new electorate. And this is their electorate. Foreigners will choose your leaders. You're not allowed to choose the leaders of foreign countries, but foreigners will choose your leaders, including in this election, this 2024 presidential election. Well, how will that work? It's illegal, you say, for illegal aliens to vote in a federal election. Well, actually, it's not illegal, it turns out. Congress passed something in the U.S. code, the federal code, a line that, unbeknownst to the rest of us, makes it legal for illegal aliens to vote in federal elections if they believe they are citizens. It's a state of mind. Did you know that?
No.
We didn't know that. Most people didn't know that. Catherine Engelbrecht just found this provision in the U.S. code. That's the kind of thing she reads because she's the founder of True the Vote and has been working on these issues for a few years now. And she joins us to explain what she's found. Catherine Engelbrecht, thank you so much.
Let me stop right here, and I want to explain something to you. So, follow the premise that I'm submitting to you. Put yourself in that person's shoes. You've just seen a coup. Point blank. This is the second coup that you've been involved in. The first coup was when Donald Trump was elected, and we know they had all these ballots go in overnight. So you went through the stress of the first coup. You went into office, didn't do anything. Now we come up to the next election, and another coup happens, and Joe Biden has moved out. We know this because Nancy Pelosi came out and tried to defend the fact that I didn't make one phone call to anybody about Joe. Remember that. So you have been through 2 coup d'etats attempts against the nation. 2. Don't you think you're going to need something to help you? Don't you think you're going to need some kind of drugs? Something? Don't you think you need something to manage that stress? Knowing that if this doesn't go well, if this doesn't go as planned, you in a world of trouble. And so imagine the conversations that are happening behind the scene. Get your ass out there, Kamala, and talk. Well, I'm tired. You're going to have to get out there and talk. Now, remember, she's seen coups. She's seen an assassination attempt by the deep state. She's seen planes that are having emergencies with political candidates on them. This woman has seen a lot of stuff. And so she knows full well on what the powers that be that are in control are capable of. And she knows without a doubt that she's a tool of that power. She sees it. She knows it. And out of all the people there, I submit to you, and again, I want to say this, I do not feel sorry for this woman in any way, shape, or form. She's the weakest one. Think about it. Think about everybody that's been in power in the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton, savage. Bill Clinton, pure on savage. Political machines. Obama and Michelle, or Obama and Michael, savages. Biden family, savages. She the damn lamb amongst lions. And you got all these lions circling around you now because you're supposed to be president. And they're going to inaugurate you as president. Kamala, we got the illegals going to vote you in. We got this. And she knows, boy, if I win this, if this works, boy, I'm in for a world of hurt. And then they have to have read her in on what they're going to do. She has to know what's happening if she doesn't win. And so when you see Kamala up there looking like she's drunk and she high, oh, buddy, believe me, she looks that way for a reason. Now, let's go a little bit higher in the spectrum and look down on it a little bit more and see. In context of what Tucker and this young lady here is talking about, let's listen to a little bit more of it, and we're going to extrapolate out from this what comes next.
Coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So would you mind explaining what seems at first blush a very far-fetched idea that the U.S. code, as of right now, as of our speaking, would allow illegal aliens to vote in the upcoming presidential election. How would that work?
Yeah, well, True the Vote, the organization I founded some years ago, has been long involved in looking at the accuracy of the voter rolls. And we've long maintained that inaccurate voter rolls lead to inaccurate elections. So with that as a backdrop, we've been very concerned about the lack of availability to determine citizenship status, not just by groups like ours, but by states themselves. They can't get close enough to a citizenship status database to make good determinations. That then led me to look a little deeper, because as you rightly lay out, there's a motivation here. So what might that be? We've seen many, many videos of people coming across the border who are talking about their excitement about voting for Joe Biden and claiming that they are citizens. But yet, we hear debates in Congress where the congressman will say, don't worry, non-citizens can't vote. It's a crime of perjury. It's a felony. So, okay. We took a deep look at the criminal code, and Title 18 left us just gobsmacked, because when you read all the way through it, as it lists all of the stipulations against non-citizen voting in federal elections and lays out the penalties therefore, scroll all the way down to the fine print, and what you read is that non-citizens can vote without penalty if at the time they are voting they believe themselves to be U.S. citizens.
Well, I mean, that seems insane. I mean, I'm taking your word for it.
All right. Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, she says this is true. Do you wonder if what she's saying is right or wrong? I wonder if what she's saying is right or wrong. Let's find out. Let us find out for ourselves if she is what she claims is true. Title 18. I'll be right back. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. 18 U.S. Code 611, voting by aliens. It shall be unlawful for any alien to vote in any election held solely or in part for the purpose of electing a candidate for the office of president, vice president, presidential elector, member of Senate, member of House of Representatives, delegate of District of Columbia, or resident commissioner, unless the election is held partly for some other purpose. Aliens are authorized to vote for such purposes under state constitution or statute or local ordinance, and voting for such other purposes is conducted independently of voting for a candidate, such as federal offices, in such a manner that an alien has the opportunity to vote for such other purpose, but not any opportunity to vote for a candidate for any one or more or such federal offices. Screw all that, watch this. Any person who violates this section shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. Subsections A does not apply to an alien if, number one, each natural parent of the alien, or in the case of an adopted alien, each adoptive parent of the alien, close parentheses, is or was a citizen, whether by birth or naturalization. So if they're born in, that's what happens. The alien permanently resides in the United States prior to attaining the age of 16. And that explains why all the children came in for the future. Watch this, part 3. The alien reasonably believes at the time of voting in violation of the alien reasonably believed, past tense, at the time of voting in violation of such subsection that he or she was a citizen of the United States. I'm going to read it again. The alien reasonably believed at the time of voting in violation of such subsection that he or she was a citizen of the United States. Get all the way the fuck out of here. I'm just going to let that sink in for you. I'm literally just going to let that sink in for you. I believe I'm rich. Can I go rob a bank? I believe I'm an airplane pilot. Can I go fly a freaking plane? I believe I'm a police officer. Can I go pull your ass over on the road and beat the crap out of you and write you a ticket? Since when does believing in any way, shape, or form, oh my Lord, Jesus, help us. Jesus, sweet baby Jesus, help us. Now do you understand why Kamala seems like she high all the time? I get high all the time. I smoke the good stuff. I get high all the time. You understand? That woman right there knows all this. You don't know it. And more importantly, all the folk that's sitting there supporting, all them people behind her don't know this. And there's an extreme possibility that when all of it comes out, that's the person that's going to be holding the bag. So absolutely, she's on something. She got to be on something, man. You got to be on something. And now here's the craziest thing. I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. If you go back and you read the Committee of 300's books, things like the changing images of men and their plans for the destruction of America, you don't want to know what the crazy thing is? In their plans, they were going to make sure that someone black took the responsibility for the downfall of America. Now, here's the craziest thing. This broad ain't even black. But she's perceived that way. Boy, y'all don't understand the wickedness that's being done. Well, DW, it's not about race. Yes, it is. In the context of starting a race war. Yeah. If that's the face that's put on the communism, the socialism, the Muslims going wild in the streets, the Chinese army coming over and taking over America. Yeah. Y'all don't understand how dastardly these people are, man. Yeah, you don't understand how wicked these people are. So yes, she's the empty suit. That's the fog woman. Why you think they really got so mad when Trump said she ain't black? You think they just got mad because it was just a political aspect of it? Everybody black knew she wasn't black. That was obvious by the response from black people. Man, it's three-dimensional chess being played. And it's terrifying.